Servus and welcome to Flo's German Kitchen. I'm Flo, this is my kitchen, and I show you how to cook the German way. If you've ever been to Germany during Christmas time, I'm sure you have visited a German Weihnachtsmarkt, Christkindlesmarkt, Christmas market. And apart from the Glühwein, the mulled wine, one thing that's very often sold in German Christmas markets is Flammkuchen. Some people would say it is just a German pizza, but I have good news for you. It is much less complicated than making an Italian pizza, and I know what I'm talking about because I have literally spent years practicing and improving to finally manage to get a real Italian, elastic, fluffy, crusty pizza dough. Flammkuchen is much less complicated. You can already see it on the ingredients. We have wheat flour, a little oil, some water, salt, and that's already it for the dough. No yeast needed. For the topping, I'm using crème fraîche. That's a very rich kind of French sour cream. If you don't have that, just use normal sour cream. You'll absolutely be fine. I have bacon strips, onion, chives, little salt, little pepper. That's all for the topping. And with my cooking, I always love to have a good German drink. Today it's not beer because Flammkuchen is something that is really made in German wine regions, in Baden, in Pfalz, Saarland, and also on the French side of the Rhine, in the Elsass. People drink wine there, so I'm having a good white wine for that. Wunderbar. Let's start making the dough. I put everything I don't need for that aside. Get my bowl from the kitchen aid. This is 250 grams of all-purpose flour, wheat flour. This is 2.5 teaspoons of oil, about the same amount as a tequila shot. Salt, around a teaspoon, 110 mils of water, and actually just a little pinch of sugar to balance the thing. This is already it. Some people tell you you have to knead it by hand. It's not necessary because the machine can do that very well. So while the machine is working the dough, and you should take at least 10 minutes for that so the dough gets really smooth and the right consistency, I continue with the topping of the Flammkuchen. First thing you need is the onions. They just need to be sliced thinly, and I love onions, so I just take a real lot of that. Same goes for the bacon. It is just normal bacon stripes. Actually, I bought it that way already. It's just, yeah, convenient not to have to stripe it myself. Onion goes in here. Also, I have to chop the chives. That looks awful. Put it away. So, and I'll just, like to chop it in really small pieces. But some people like to have it a bit bigger pieces like that. It's just a question of your personal taste. That should already be enough. Definitely enough for this little bowl. Chopping board goes away. That's already all the work to do. And we go on adding the cream. As I said, you don't necessarily need crème fraîche. You can just use normal sour cream as well. So you would think it must look nicer when you sprinkle the chives on top of everything, but if you put the chives on top, there is a risk to burn it. So I'm actually mixing it in the cream. Yeah, I always say cream, you know what I mean, the sour cream. Bit of salt, pepper, and in that case I'm not taking too much pepper, although as you know I love it. Just mix the whole stuff. Salty, peppery chives. Yeah, that's great. So the dough needs to be worked a little more time, so I see you when it's done. So this is a really smooth and pretty elastic dough, not a pizza dough, not as fluffy, but it can be handled very, very easily. So what I do now is that I just put it in 2 halves and make really nice round balls so that I have a nice round Flammkuchen later. Yes, some have the Flammkuchen square, but I like it to be round shaped. So this is one way to get it round. This is one way. You just make sort of a claw and move it that way. Loosely, not grab it, just give it some space. And this will automatically turn out to be a nice round ball. The other way is we call it schleifen. You do that with rolls. I do that with my pizza balls and everything. You just hold it like that. And whenever there is an edge that's not nicely round, you pull it out, stretch it, and put it back on the bottom. That way it also forms a nice round ball. You can do it either way. This is how I shape my pizza balls also. Some people will tell you you have to wrap that in film, put it in the refrigerator for some time, and I think that is not necessary. I just keep it at room temperature. I cover it with a piece of kitchen cloth. There's 10 minutes it's gonna rest. This is not gonna dry out. This is gonna be all right. Use the 10 minutes to heat up your oven to 250 degrees centigrade. That's 480 Fahrenheit. And if you have one, enjoy a good sip of wine while you're waiting. Lovely. So 10 minutes of rest. Looks wonderful. Didn't work without a refill of my wine. I really like to tip it with my fingers to spread it out slowly. And now you will find, while it's a really difficult thing with a pizza dough, as it always tends to stick to the table and everything, you can spread this almost as easily as with a good pizza dough. It needs a little more force. You need to be a little more careful. And now the difference is that while making a pizza, you leave it thicker at the edge. This needs to be really thin. So you can do that. You can also use a rolling pin. Actually, I somehow always like to do this stuff with my hands, to just stretch it like that. But yeah, you can use the rolling pin as well. Some people shape the Flammkuchen in a square. I just like it to be nice and round. That's why I also made nice round balls. So to get it thinner, to avoid it sticking, I'll put a little flour on the table, but really it doesn't need a lot. And then you just circle it, stretch it, turn it around once in a while, and you'll get a nice and thin Flammkuchen. Yeah! For those of you who've watched me use my oven already, they know I don't have a standard oven. I have that weird German thing. So what I'm gonna do is I put the Flammkuchen directly here because this is a heated field. This is great for making pizza and for making bread, for just everything. But if you have a standard oven, that's not a problem. You just put it on a baking paper, put it in your baking pan. If you have a pizza stone, use the pizza stone. That's gonna make it a little better. But if you don't have any special oven, yeah, that's not a problem. It's gonna work with any standard oven. So I just put this on that whatever it is called thing. Get my cream spread, and now one important thing is to just don't get the topping too thin, don't spread it too thin, but also don't make it too much because you just want that Flammkuchen to be crispy, crunchy, but at the same time it's not supposed to be a cracker. Yeah. I love bacon, so I'll take a lot of bacon. I just need to make sure I don't use too much because it needs to last for two. Also onions. Onions are just a great thing. Just put a lot of onions on your Flammkuchen, and that's the good thing when you make it at home. You can just put as much topping as you want. If you buy a Flammkuchen at a German Christmas market, you will find they're sometimes pretty stingy with the topping. So that's another advantage of making your stuff at home. Let's put it in the oven. So again, 250 Celsius, 480 Fahrenheit. This will take about, 8 to 10 minutes. So while the first one's baking, I already start flattening the dough for another one because I want to try something out. Before making this videos, I've looked up for varieties of Flammkuchen. I found stuff like doing Flammkuchen with apple and cinnamon, and yeah, that might appear pretty Christmassy, but I don't know. For me, Flammkuchen is a hearty thing, not a sweet thing, so I'm not gonna do that. But I found a variety where people actually put cheese on it, and so I got me some ground Emmentaler, and I'm gonna give that a try as well. And yeah, I'm not gonna use the rolling pin. This just works really great to just stretch a little dough. One thing when making Flammkuchen, it's the same when you're making pizza or a lot of other stuff. Don't rely on the clock. Don't rely on the clock. Always have an eye on what you're doing and just check it. So I will also check on this one. Oh yeah, this is looking good, but I wanted a little brown on the edges, so I give it a couple of more, maybe 2 more minutes, which also means I already have to speed up with this one. And this tastes really great. I can imagine that as a spread on a good piece of German bread as well. And now I really need to hurry because I think that other Flammkuchen is really about to be finished in the next couple of seconds. So I'll speed up. bacon. Onions, just give me all you got, baby. And this one gets some cheese. I won't put as much cheese as I put on a pizza. But yeah, let's see how that's gonna turn out. Never tried that before. Yeah, this is just perfect. So this is what you get when you buy Flammkuchen on a German Christmas market. Now, speaking about German kitchen, actually, Flammkuchen is often referred to as Elsässer Flammkuchen, and Elsass sounds German, but in fact today we had a couple of wars in Europe, you remember that, and so the Elsass, some older people are still speaking a German dialect there, now they speak French because it belongs to France, but for me that is still kind of a German kitchen. So I'm drinking German wine. Although it's not pizza, a pizza roller will do a good job on that. So let's try it. I'll take one from the middle. Yeah, this is so hearty. The onion still got a little bite. Bacon is soft and juicy. What am I supposed to say? It's delicious, it's lecker, it's great, it's fantastic. Usually that's the moment where I want to wrap up because I don't want to stop eating, but I still have to wait for the other one. So I can easily enjoy my Flammkuchen and stick around for a couple of more minutes. Cheers. This is really, really great, but I actually regret I've only prepared dough for 2 Flammkuchen because I think I could have been a bit more open-minded and give that apple and cinnamon thing a shot. Probably I'm gonna do that next Christmas because yeah, apples and cinnamon, that's just a very Christmassy thing. And see what the other one looks like. Oh yeah! Oh, this is hot. Some guy, I like to watch his videos. Stefan Schnieder is a German chef, and I've also watched his video about Flammkuchen, and he would say sour cream straight from the oven is like lava. Be careful, you can really, really burn your mouth. But I don't want to wait any longer. That's good. That's great. I think I'll do that with cheese more often. Putting cheese on your Flammkuchen definitely is a good thing. You will want to use a little less of the cream because you can see this turns out quite soggy in the middle. Too much liquid. Add a little cheese. Take a little less of the cream and you'll have a fantastic variation. So even if you're near a German Weihnachtsmarkt, you can't get something like this there, because if you're making it at home, you can treat yourself to a little extra bacon, to a little extra onion, add some cheese, just do it the way you love it. And speaking about loving, I'll wrap it up for this year. I'm gonna visit family in the Black Forest, and I'll start next year with shooting a video with my crazy brother who's gonna come visiting. I don't yet know what it's gonna be about, but I'm sure it's gonna be fun. So have a wonderful Christmas, have a good start into the new year. See you then. Cheers on Flammkuchen, cheers on German cooking. Wunderbar.